Mazi Chika Edoziem to be precise. I am from Ihe Oma in Olu province, Biafra land. And by the power of Chukwuabiama and by the will of our ancestors, I serve the Biafran people in the Directorate of State of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB Global Family, as the head of the Directorate of States. Today's broadcast, I want to start with a review of the past year. On the 20th day of November 2025, with the predetermined, pre-written, and the persecutory judgment of the Nigerian Federal High Court delivered by Justice James Omotosho of the Abuja Federal High Court, Nigeria finally extinguished its last flicker of hope of the continued existence of the geographic entity and expression called Nigeria, with Biafra land as part of that entity. The Nigerian state, blinded by the hate which it harbors against the Biafran people, and propelled by its desire to quench the fire of freedom burning in the hearts and souls of every Biafran represented by Mazi Kanu, literally shot itself on the foot on this very day. Great Biafrans, as sad as the charade of a trial could be, as disappointing as the result of that farce of a trial was to millions of Biafrans, Nigeria unwittingly paved the way for the peaceful detachment of the Biafran nation from the contraption called Nigeria. Nigeria finally provided the missing puzzle in our march to freedom by using Omotosho to send Nnamdi to jail. They have killed Biafrans in their millions. They sent many of us into exile, deliberately and unconscionably destroyed and continue to destroy the properties and livelihoods of the Biafran people situated in places such as Abuja, Lagos, and northern Nigeria. They were not satisfied. And now, they have played their last card by sending Mazi to jail. I have a question to every right-thinking individual, Biafrans and non-Biafrans alike. And the question is, does any person in his or her right senses believe that after convicting Mazi Kanu of trumped-up charges, after murdering our youth in cold blood, does anyone really believe that we Biafrans will ever agree to remain in the same country with the rest of the disparate nations that the British forced into a marriage of convenience that was established for their sole benefit? The answer to this question is, of course, a capital no. As the persecutory trial and its judgment was unable to cover or intimidate Mazi Kanu, so is IPOB neither intimidated nor will be compelled to relinquish our inalienable right to peaceful agitation for self-determination. Our resolve for freedom of our people is unwavering. Our dedication to the restoration of our stolen sovereignty is unshaken because, in the words of Mazi Kanu himself, notwithstanding the killings of Biafrans, the incarceration of our people in different Nigerian prisons and army dungeons, the destruction of our properties and livelihood, notwithstanding all this, in the end, we shall be victorious, and Biafra must come. My address today, I also desire to address Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the Nigerian current president, a Yoruba man, using the Yoruba Attorney General, using Yoruba prosecutors, and a Yoruba judge, erroneously believe that he can kill the aspirations of a people hungering for liberty and freedom by sending Mazi Kanu to prison in Sokoto. Unfortunately for him and the Yoruba nation, Tinubu has only succeeded in creating enmity between the Yoruba nation and the Biafran nation that will last for centuries if he does not urgently and unequivocally put machineries in motion to make restitution for the unjust trial of Mazi Kanu. And when I say restitution, I do not simply mean the release of Mazi Kanu, but most importantly, the tag of a convict must be removed from his name. This is our minimum demand to avoid the looming enmity that Tinubu is laying the foundation for. Yoruba historians must take note of this day when they write their history. Sometime in 2023, during one of my broadcasts, I remember I asked Biafrans to ensure that they do not entrust all their money in the care of banks in Nigeria. From that time, when I made that appeal to our people, to the president, the Nigerian currency, the Naira, has depreciated in value to less than 50% of its value, as it was then. Now, here is the troubling part. And this address as well, I am addressing it to Biafrans. Tinubu's ambition is to replicate Obafemi Awolowo's policy of 20 pounds, but in a more sophisticated fashion. Please, Biafrans, somebody should please find the audio conversation between the present Nigerian Vice President Shetima and Kunle, a Yoruba politician, made some years back. Find that audio clip and make it available to people, to our people, to understand the game plan of the Nigerian establishment, the agenda that Nigeria has against them. The tax reform that Tinubu and France signed is ultimately targeted at the wealth of the Biafran people. When the reform fully take root, it will leave trails of pain, sorrow, and blood on its path, and the victims will be Biafrans of all walks of life. Your funds in your Nigerian accounts will be confiscated with trumped-up reasons like the trumped-up charges against Mazi Kanu, and you will be left with nothing. The question is, and again, like the last advice that I gave, or the last appeal I gave, what can you do? If you cannot keep your money outside the shores of Nigeria, then ensure that only a small fraction of your money is left at the hands of the Nigerian banks, because the banks will be the conduit through which your years of toil and suffering will be stolen. Convert that fund, or those funds that are not with the banks, into major foreign currency and store them. Keep them, safeguard them, store them away somewhere safe in Biafra land. Our responsibility is to pass the message from the ancients to our people as they direct us. What you do with the message is simply your prerogative. But we have spoken as we are asked to do. Do not take what is coming for granted. The agenda is to pauperize those who have made money, those who are wealthy, majorly of Biafran descent. And they will go further. They will even affect the market woman who has a bank account, who is selling vegetables in the market. To be forewarned is to be forearmed. Now to the caliphate, headed by Sultan Saad Abubakar Mohammed. It is very imperative that I remind you that Nnamdi Kanu is neither a Muslim, nor is he a Fulani, and therefore not your subject, and so does not come under the purview of your authority as Sultan of Sokoto. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is a Biafran who, at the best, is a guest in your domain. We therefore expect that he will be given all diplomatic respect and protection that is due to a citizen of the great Biafran nation. The reason I am addressing you today in my broadcast is to put you, the Sultan, on notice that nothing, absolutely nothing whatsoever, must happen to him while in your domain. If at any point you feel that you can no longer guarantee his safety as your guest, please send him back to Biafra land in one piece and in good health. This message to the Sultan must not be misconstrued as a threat. It is not. It is an advice, because as Biafrans, we are a people of honor and integrity. We do not make threats, but we rather keep our promises. Today, the 1st of January 2026, I am minded to address those amongst our people who enjoy being called our leaders, but lack the overstanding of what leadership entails and demands. The other day, one political appointee from Biafra land, in the person of David Ubai, said from the comfort of his home in Abuja, or from the studio of a typical corrupt Nigerian news outlet, that there is no more need for Biafra because, according to him, his appointer has appointed people like him to serve the Nigerian establishment and invariably serve themselves. But the question that begs to answer or that begs for an answer is, one should ask David Umahi, at what time and what date did he become the spokesperson of IPOB or any other movement agitating for the freedom of our land and of our people? To David Umahi's mind, the appointment of a person of Biafran extraction to a political office has become synonymous with a struggle for our freedom and the restoration of the dignity and honor of the Biafran people, which the Nigerian establishment with the British government bastardized to a very large extent and almost destroyed. I need not tell David Umahi that the political appointment that they occupy does not correlate or in any manner or form equate the freedom or the meeting or the meeting of the aspirations of our people to live in freedom and in liberty. David Umahi and his likes are neither Biafran movement leaders nor are they particularly Igbo leaders in the real sense, because the Igbo know their leaders. Him and his likes have never done anything to merit the epithet Igbo leaders. These are men who have neither honor nor integrity. Men who conspired against the demand of Mazi Kanu for the infrastructural development of Biafra land. They, all the governors from David Umahi's time to the present, who are from the Igbo nation of Biafra land, are amongst those that emboldened the Nigerian government to ban a peaceful freedom movement, the IPOB, while they upped with known terror groups such as Mieti Allah, Fulani headsmen, and Fulani foot soldiers in the Nigerian armed forces. They are the people that brought in Operation Python Dance not once, not twice, and not tries to cut short the lives of our youths in cold blood and in peacetime. If David Umahi and all the governors of the north of the nation of Biafra land believe that they are indeed Igbo leaders and not just political jobbers, I throw a challenge today, being the first day of January 2026, to them. And I challenge them, with all the apparatus of governance and government at their disposal, I challenge them to call out Biafrans to convince the world that they are truly Igbo leaders. And afterwards, IPOB will also call out Biafrans with the understanding that there must be a level playing ground for their rally as well as for the rally of IPOB, so that the world will know and finally and actually who is in charge of Biafra land, and particularly in charge of Igbo land. I throw the challenge to them. I want them to take it up so that they will stop mounting and moving around with the red caps on their head. They will believe that with red cap on their head automatically confers leadership on them. They have neither the understanding, they have neither the understanding, they have neither the overstanding of what leadership truly means or entails. Biafran of total emancipation initiated by our forefathers. The journey of our liberation and freedom has been a very challenging one, no doubt. The path, a complex and tortuous one, which at times seemed intractable and insurmountable. The year 2025 saw the indigenous people of Biafra movement making great strides in so many areas and ways, notwithstanding the enormous resources expended and the campaign of calumny mounted against IPOB by the Nigerian government, its armed forces, its media outlets, its agencies and parastatals and proxies, both internally and externally. It is on this very point that I commend all of you, wonderful great Biafrans, for holding forth and remaining committed and dedicated and devoted to this very cause. My immediate address to the Biafran people today is the last call to duty and action to every indigenous person of Biafra, because we are standing at the threshold of a momentous historical event in our life as a people. By way of historical context, when Nigeria created the conditions that eventually led to the Biafran genocide of 1967 to 1970, and after the near annihilation of our people as a race, the Biafran people in their usual magnanimity tried to forgive, but not to forget. The Nigerian and British attempt to exterminate our race by agreeing to subsume our interest as a people to the general interest of all within the confines of the contraption called Nigeria. When Biafrans agreed to return to Nigeria irrespective of the deprivations they were subjected to, when we agreed to return notwithstanding a deliberate policy of economic emasculation, in spite of all the deliberate strangulating national policies put in place to reduce our viability as a nation, and despite the fresh souls in our memories, in our souls, in our minds, of the millions of our children, our mothers, our fathers, our loved ones, our brothers and sisters and uncles starved to death, we agreed to return to Nigeria not because, I need to stress, not because of the promises and agreement of the famous 3 R's, to wit, reconciliation, rehabilitation, and reconstruction, which more than 50 years later was filled in its deliberate, blatant breach. The decision of our leaders then to return as part of the contraption called Nigeria was born out of our known value system of Ofo na Ogu. Nigeria and its handlers were given a second chance to amend their ways and toe the path of reason. For 40 years, people waited patiently for Nigeria to exorcise itself of the demon that pushed it into committing a genocide against the indigenous people of Biafra. In its usual manner, rather than retrace its steps in its predicted manner, Nigeria opted its policy of dispossession and dispossessing us of our dignity and our humanity. They tried everything, both that is known and unknown, to break us. Blinded by its desire to suppress and subjugate the Biafran people, Nigeria forgot or neglected the guiding principle behind Ofonaogu. It was during the 40 years waiting period that Masob and similar Biafran groups rose to demand for fairness and equity. They demanded simply fairness and equity. The Nigerian establishment, true to its nature, responded with brutality and repression. What Nigeria failed to realize at the time it was massacring Biafrans in the name of stopping the just demand for fairness and equity by the Biafran people was that Nigeria and its handlers, they fell into the trap of the fundamental principles behind Ofonaogu. Instead of amending their ways and blinded by greed, they missed a golden opportunity to make restitution for their crimes against the Biafran people. It is true that internal contradictions within the Masob movement prevented it from leveraging on the support both of our people and of the land. But that is another story for another day. IPOB, the indigenous people of Biafra, rose from the ashes of Masob when the latter failed to recognize the enormous mandate that was handed over to it by the ancestors of our land. The formation of the indigenous people of Biafra movement by Mazi Kanu was a sacred duty, springing from the unfulfilled expectations both from our people and from the ancestors of our land. I have briefly gone through this historical part in order to assure the Biafran people and our friends and supporters that the leadership of the indigenous people of Biafra, the DOS, we are very much aware of the enormous responsibility upon our shoulders. We are alive to the great expectations of our people, and we are not in any manner oblivious of the innate thirst and hunger of a people whose only desire is to live in peace and in freedom in a sovereign and a free and independent Biafra nation. It is this weight of responsibility upon the leadership of the indigenous people of Biafra, and still standing upon the same principle of Ofonaogu that I call first today. All those of Biafran extraction, our political representatives in the Nigerian National Assembly, comprising the Senate and the House of Representatives, together with all and every political appointee of the Biafran extraction, to activate without hesitation actions in the floor of both chambers of the Nigerian National Assembly for the peaceful separation of the Biafran territory from the rest of the contraption called Nigeria. This is a solemn call that I made today, that I am making today through our political representatives. This call has become very imperative because of the wrong perception or belief in certain quarters that IPOB is not working in consonance with the political representatives from Biafra land. I chose to make a public call to our political representatives so that in Igbo language, Mmụọ na mmadụ will hear my voice and bear us witness that on this day, the first day of January, we have carried out the directive of our ancestors. What the political elite, what the political representatives do with this mandate is entirely up to them. I want to, however, assure them that once they have done the needful by simply moving a motion on the floor of both the Nigerian Senate and the House of Representatives for the peaceful separation based on the universal guarantees rule of self-determination. When they make this, when they move this motion for the peaceful exercising of the Biafran territory from Nigeria, they must be rest assured, they must know that they have our back. And IPOB will take up the matter or the battle from that very point. The second equally very important call that I make today goes to the Biafran people home and in the diaspora. It is a fact, unquestionable, that not everyone will be bold enough to come out publicly to demand for the freedom of our people. However, I want to let you know that the freedom that we seek is for every Biafran born and yet unborn. It is with this overstanding that I call upon our people to come out of their docility, come down from the high fences upon which many of them have been sitting for a very long while now, and support the Biafran restoration movement being propelled by IPOB and guided by the Directors of State. My next call goes to our intellectuals. As your name presupposes, you are men of intellect. Intellect abounds in you. I want to let you know that the fight to ensure that our people live in dignity and honor and be able to develop the talent that Chukwu Kikabiama has endowed them with for the benefit of mankind is much your fight as it is the fight of IPOB. I ask you today, therefore, to join the global family and enrich our struggle with your intellect and ideas. It is, at times, it is at times like this that we daily miss the likes of Professor Denny of blessed memory and many others like him who did not wait to be consultants but chose to be active participants in the liberation project and freedom of their land and of their people. May they continue to fight in the realms of the spirit until Biafra is restored. My last call goes to every group which genuinely desire the freedom of our people and do not harbor ulterior motives or has detrimental agenda to the well-being of the Biafra people and the nation. I call upon you to join the IPOB global family in our existential battle as a race. For as the Igbo adage goes and says, Igwe, Bike. However, for the avoidance of doubt, my call to all and sundry to join hands with IPOB for the final push of this, for the final push to the finishing line of our objective must not in any manner be misconstrued. I am simply acting in accordance with the direction of the ancestors of Biafra land. To those of you to whom I have extended this hand of brotherhood today, you now have a window of opportunity to be counted for good or bad. But be rest assured, however, that the ship of freedom has already set sail and nearing its destination, which is a free, independent, and sovereign Biafran nation. What is the way forward for us as a people, and of course, the movement of the indigenous people of Biafra? One, education. During one of my national broadcasts of January 2022, I informed the Biafran that the DOS will be creating a new department in IPOB, namely the Education Department. The imperativeness of this very department at this moment in our struggle cannot be overemphasized, knowing that part of the plan of the enemies of our people is to strip us of what makes us who we are. We have seen some governors in Biafra land failing in their responsibility to provide true education to our children. And the result is a decadence morally, intellectually, and socially that has become the norm amongst our school children. To exacerbate the decadence and destroy the true fabric that unites us as a people, the Nigerian government now wants to outlaw our language from being the medium of education for our children. The indigenous people of Biafra shall resist this evil plan with every sinew in our body. The IPOB Department of Education shall have the primary responsibility to ensure that our children are educated and taught in our mother tongue, and this means every of the indigenous languages in Biafra land. That our children are taught our history, our values, our worldview, our spirituality, and our tradition and our culture. The adage says, catch them young. We have to begin at a very young age to be able to inculcate in our children the values that had made us once the proud and great people. And the time is now. It is in this area of education, among many areas in which our intellectuals and the academia will make great impact with their knowledge. We therefore ask you to make your intellect available for the benefit of your people, for the benefit of our land. Agriculture. Also, during my national broadcast of January 2023, I informed our people that the food security of the Biafran people is a national security issue for the Biafran people. I know why I say this, because many of us who live in diaspora, we know what obtains wherever we live. Any nation that allows itself to depend on foreigners to supply its food has basically handed its destiny into the hands of such foreigners to do as they will and please. It is this reality that propelled the leadership of IPOB, the DOS, to initiate in 2023 the Biafran agricultural revolution. We need the input of our agriculturalist intellectuals to guarantee both our self-sufficiency in food production as well as to safeguard our national security as a people. We are glad to announce to you, fellow Biafrans, that the agricultural project, that agricultural revolution initiated by the leadership of this very movement, the Directorate of State, has taken root in our land. And we will say, and we can say, that it is a resounding success. Nevertheless, my people, it is not yet good, because we are not yet where we desire and where we want our land to be in terms of being self-sufficient in food production. There are certain areas such as animal husbandry that our people must intensify efforts to catch up with the progress made in the area of crop and cash crop production. We must also intensify effort to ensure that every fruit tree known in our land are restored for our unborn generation. Please, my people, especially those in Biafra land, desist from destroying the nature around you. Desist from cutting down the trees that were planted even before your fathers were born. Desist from detaching yourself from your surroundings. Because at the time when you have cut all the trees around you, you are taking yourself away from nature. You want to surround yourself with man-made concretes and zincs. That is where your problem will actually increase. Where it becomes unavoidable, where it becomes absolutely necessary to cut any fruit tree, such tree or trees that will be cut must be replanted at least in 2 different places. I know we can do this because I know who we are. Only give the Biafrans the proper direction. You will be marveled at what results that they will give you. If you give them wrong direction, they will give you abundance of wrong results. If you give them right direction, they will give you abundance of what is good. And we are giving you the right direction. Our children yet unborn and those that will come after we are gone. The trees that we know, they don't need to learn them in books. They have to feel them. They have to touch them. They have to embrace them because it is part of who they are. Our well-being as a people is in the nature that surrounds us. It is therefore on this note that I call upon governors and politicians to desist. Please desist from entrenching business in the psyche of our people through giving them 5 kilograms of rice during festive and electioneering periods. That is not who we are. Don't import the Alamajiri system into our land. The land will not forgive you. If you are a philanthropist and you wish to do well, you desire to equip or to help your neighbor, governors and individuals who are capable, please follow the initiative of the DOS and make I will repeat here, non-GMO seeds, crops, seedlings available to our people. We, like I said, are a people that are hardworking. Give us the tools, and we will provide for ourselves, and we provide for our loved ones and those around us. Stop entrenching laziness in the psyche of our people. When you give them 5 kilograms of rice, because the election is coming, or because there is Christmas or New Year, and when you go back to your base, what happens after that? This is an appeal that I'm making to the governors. The farming season will soon begin. If you have not made preparations or arrangements to procure these needed essentials, please, time is of essence, and the time is now. It is not too late to procure non-GMO seeds, seedlings and crops, and distribute to the villagers. Everybody has a small portion of land where they can farm, so that we will bring back that thing for which our parents, they enjoyed doing very, very much. That is going to the farm, even when they lived or resided in different cities across the Geological Republic of Nigeria. In ensuring that we as a people are self-sufficient in food production, to guarantee our food and national security, we must, as a matter of survival, abstain. We must desist from bringing into our land any GMO-based crops or seeds. These are, I don't know how to describe the effect of these crops and these seeds in a particular location where when and where they are introduced. They leave years of destruction and ravages. The promoters of the spread of GMO crops in Africa are those who have the sole aim of destroying the fabric of our existence. Security. Securing our land, our people, and our borders is not just the responsibility of the Eastern Security Network. It is incumbent upon all of us, and it is a duty for all of us to secure our land. Yes, no question. True, no doubt. The ESN is our defense shield established to protect Biafra land and the Biafran people. These outfit, they are a crop of disciplined Biafran men and women who are trained on their core duty of safeguarding Biafran farmland, protecting our forests against invading Fulani herdsmen and Fulani terrorists, and the jihadists that are known to be amongst the Nigerian armed forces. It is due to their commitment to our farmland and forests, that our farmland and forests are safe, which in turn has helped in the success of the IPOB-initiated agricultural revolution. It is due to their efforts that Biafra land experienced peace during the festive periods. As you make your merriment and pop your champagne, as you enjoy with and in the midst of your family and loved ones, do not forget to spare a thought for those men and women in our forests, guiding and protecting our frontiers. And do not forget to offer Ojibo to the ancestors of our land, for without them, we are nobody. For without them, we are nothing. The protection of our land and of our people against Fulani herdsmen and Fulani terrorists is a duty that must be carried out by the ESN with all strength of responsibility, dedication, and commitment. These brave men and women, having denied themselves of all forms of comfort and have devoted their lives for the good and well-being of each and every one of us. The least that we as a people can do to encourage and motivate them is to support their work. We need to support their efforts. Men who have volunteered their lives that you may live and enjoy in safety with your family. The ESN is a child of necessity that came into being 5 years ago. When we remember Nimbo and also one massacres by the Fulani jihadists, Fulani herdsmen, Fulani terrorists. When we remember Aba High School massacre, when we remember Mpo massacre, when we remember Onitsha Bridgehead massacre, to mention just but a few, killed in their numbers in peacetime, and without any provocation whatsoever. Only that their crime is that they were waving flags demanding to live in dignity and in honor, demanding justice, demanding fairness, demanding equity. They were mowed down in cold blood. They were massacred. When these things were happening, when our people were being killed, those who called themselves political leaders could neither protect the lives of our people nor prevent subsequent massacres of innocent Biafran youths. The international community, in its usual hypocrisy, they saw nothing and they had nothing. They became blind and deaf at the same time. It was at that time, it was at that moment, it was at the time that our people were at a crossroad, that the Biafran people came to the sad realization that their own safety and security lay squarely and absolutely squarely on their shoulders, hence the birth of the Eastern Security Network in December of 2022. This outfit is not an offensive outfit. It is not formed to wage any war against the Nigerian state. Far from the propaganda, far from the blackmail of the Nigerian system, ESN was solely formed following the example of such outfits that existed in the North and in the West, and of course following the abject dereliction of duty, abject abandonment of responsibility by those who are supposed to protect their land, those who are supposed to guard their land, those who are supposed to look out for their people, those who call themselves the political leaders. ESN became a child of necessity. We know they have tried in every way, form and shape to see how they can destroy this outfit. But they forgot something, that in Igbo language they will say, apologies to the rest of Biafrans. I am from the Igbo nation of Biafra land. I will be using our words of wisdom to bring home my speech today. They forgot then that the Igbo will say, if you are walking with your guidance spirit, you will not go astray. The brave men and women of this Eastern Security Network have been maligned, abused, cajoled, and even betrayed by the same people for whose protection the outfit was established. Having understood the strategic position of the Eastern Security Network, the Nigerian government activated a campaign of calumny to blackmail and discredit the name ESN through proxies that they themselves established for that sole purpose in Biafra land. Sadly, very sadly, but very unfortunate, those who should know better have allowed themselves to be used to parrot the Nigerian government propaganda and push their agenda to turn our people against the only standing security outfit of volunteers under oath, to protect our land and its people. Let me now therefore state without any equivocation that no operative of the ESN will get involved in any form of criminality in Biafra land, not to talk of engaging in the kidnapping and murder of those for whom they are under oath to protect. That Nigerian narrative, that you see some misguided people in our land parroting, trying to far with the brush of black paint the name of ESN. These men that stood upon Ajana Libo and took oath, they know the consequences if they will go against the oath that they took. And therefore assuring our people and making them to understand that this outfit are men who knows from whence they came. These brave men and women must be supported, not vilified. They must be encouraged, not demoralized, and they must be protected by every Biafran as their own. Nka Bumkani, and not joining Nigeria to destroy it. This is our own. The ESN, it belongs to you as well as much as it belongs to me. On Kankobo, we must protect our own. Otherwise, we will leave ourselves porous. If you think that they are not coming, I'm telling you today, the first day of January 2026, they are on their way. They are coming. They are coming. And I hasten to say, if they come and our people are still in their slumber and they refuse to do what they need to do, I will give the men and women the command to stand back. They will stand back so that all of you will see with your eyes and feel what we have been telling you, that these men, many of them are already in our land. And we know the axis through which they will come. We know the axis through which they will come. But we need that these men are encouraged. We need you to put them, when you go to your church, put them in your prayers. When you call upon the ancestors, put them in your prayers. So that when the trumpet will blow, they shall not be found wanting. In the past, the leadership of the indigenous people of Biafra advised Biafrans to refrain from joining the Nigerian army for their own well-being and for their own good. When we gave this advice, some of our people either genuinely or mischievously failed to understand the rationale behind such advice. I will tell you today that the Nigerian army as presently constituted is a fantastically compromised outfit, never seen anywhere in any country in Africa. And I'm not talking about the world, in Africa. That Nigerian army, it had some modicum of respect when they had men men from the Biafran nation as officers and men in that outfit. We know their history. We know what many of them did in Congo and other places. I don't need to mention names, but that is for another day. I tell you that natural outfit is compromised to its foundations. These institutions deliberately create infiltrators amongst its rank and file by its policy of absorbing what they call repentant Boko Haram terrorists into the army. You begin to ask yourself, are these people really, are they normal? Those who are the Nigerian, well, of course, they are real, they are normal, because they know their agenda. They know what they are doing, because what is obtaining in Nigeria, like I said, will not obtain in any other same land and same country. You will see a terrorist who have not denounced its ideology. You just arrested him, you gave him 3 weeks, you retrain him, and you absorb him into an institution that is meant to protect and preserve the sanctity of the whole nation. It doesn't make sense. It is these so-called repentant terrorists whose jihadist ideologies have neither been reformed nor changed, and whose loyalty remain with their terror group because they became the eyes and ears of these terrorist organizations embedded within the Nigerian Army institution and other institutions as the case may be, by revealing operational details of the army to their fellow terrorists. This is the only reason why no day passes without army operatives being ambushed and military outposts being overrun by these terrorists. This also is the reason why when Christian communities in the Plateau area, in the Benue, in Adamawa, in southern Kaduna, and Bauchi Plains, etc., when these Christians are attacked by Fulani terrorists, the army will never intervene until the killing spree of the Christian villages and massacre is over. And when the army eventually arrive, they will turn their weapons against the victims. You ask yourself, who does that? In which sane land can such a thing be obtainable? Those who will cry up to you that they are under attack, you will not come. You will not respond. You will wait until the messengers of death from the pit of hell are done with their objective. And then you will arrive as the Superman. And what do? You don't pursue those criminals. You don't pursue those terrorists. You don't pursue those bandits. You turn your weapons against the civilians who called you, who are protesting, who are mourning, who are crying for their loved ones. How then can we allow our youth to join an institution that does not give a hoot about their lives? Those who ignored our advice, unfortunately and sadly, did not live to tell their story. We maintain advice to the Biafran youth to avoid the Nigerian army like a plague that guarantees an untimely death. I want to tell Biafrans, you need to be patient. My broadcast today is a little bit unusually longer than usual, but it's because the message has to be delivered and understood in a simple, non-complicated manner. This year, 2026, let me tell Biafrans, because I've been telling IPOB members in all my travels, in all of my engagements around the families around the world, I've been telling them that 2026 is a pivotal year for us, that we must be ready before 2027. And when I say before 2027, I'm not looking at the zoo election, no. I'm looking at the plan of the enemy to invade our land. And we must be prepared to protect our land, or we will all be toast. The hand of the political elites in Biafra land is not only soiled with the blood of their people, they are actually covered above their heads with the blood of Biafran youth and the Biafran people. The governors of the eastern region, with special emphasis on Anambra and Imo State, have set up killing squads in the name of Okozo SARS and Tiger Base, Ebubago, Anambra Vigilante, Ndiakodo, and so on and so forth, to execute the agenda of the Nigerian establishment. Our land has become destination center for body organ of all types. They have so desecrated our land in such a manner as never seen before. Chukuma Soda and Hopo Zodema's atrocities in our land is beyond mind-boggling. The justice of our God will not spare them and their lives. Tiger Base is the base of a special killing squad brought into Imo State by Hopo Zodema to harvest the organs of our youths. When the hotel and the building where the bodies of our people were dismembered, when these buildings and bodies were found, what did the Hopo Zodema do? You see complicity when you will know complicity when you see it. By their words, by their action, you know a culpable person. Hopo Zodema was quick to order the demolition of the so-called mortuary, a crime scene. When we say a crime scene, when in Europe, when one person dies, you see a body on the street, it is cordoned off. It is a crime scene. Nobody goes in if you are not amongst the people whose responsibility it is to be there. If you are a passerby, you stay behind the cordon. A mortuary, or a so-called mortuary, it is not a mortuary actually, because this issue of mortuary, we will talk about it in another day. Our people have gone into evil that baffles the sane mind. The governors, they are quick to give an individual an authorization, a license to to do what? To run a mortuary. What happens to our hospitals? What happens to the hospitals? Whose responsibility it is to keep safe and in dignity the body of our dead loved ones? But no, the governors, because they are culpable, because they are part of the conspiracy against our people, they will give individuals like I forgot the name of the one in Imo State. I think somebody will remember it for me. They give people like that the authorization to run morgues, to run mortuaries, where they will work in cohort. They will work with the police and security, these security vigilantes that the governor set up. These mortuaries, fake mortuaries, will be working in cohort with them. Now, Hope was on him when it was discovered that a place did not just have one body, not two bodies, not three, not four, not five. My goodness me, not 10 bodies, mutilated, unidentified, of Biafran youths or of anybody for that matter. It does not matter until you identify who they are. We know when we hear our people and our mothers crying. We know villagers and communities looking for their loved one, looking for their family members. They don't know their whereabouts. They don't know what has happened to them. They will go out one day in Imo State, you know where, and the next day you won't see them anymore. When they get information that these people are being held by Tiger Base, they will go to Tiger Base. There is a word or a sentence that Tiger Base will tell you, then you know that your loved one, the person you're looking for, is either dead or at the point of dying. When you go there and you ask, and if perchance they admit, because of the evidence you may give them, that yes, this person was arrested, the next thing they will tell you when you come again is that he has been transferred to Abuja. Abuja means is synonymous that he has been sent to where his body, his organs will be harvested. I weep for my land. I cry for Biafra land. When these things come before us, our hearts are at the breaking point. Because sometimes, upon the Bukuroku, sin upon yes, our people knew. Those who call themselves our political allies, they will tell you, don't worry, let peace reign. That a man who never won election, not second, not third, he was not even the fourth, was catapulted from number 4 to number 1. Didn't that tell you something? Didn't it tell you that he has been chosen for a particular objective? He has been chosen to come and carry out an agenda. Hope Uzodinma, he was quick to order the demolition of the so-called mortuary, a crime scene where mutilated bodies were found in their numbers, and ordered for a mass burial of the victims of his evil handwork without identification of who these bodies were, who they belonged to, where they came from, why they died, why did they come to die, why were they found in that mortuary, mutilated. When we say mutilated, you can begin to imagine. It is not that somebody, you cut off the head, no. You will see the parts have been surgically excised part of their body. They work in tandem and in connection and in cahoots with medical practitioners. All of them, I will not curse you today, because today's broadcast is an opportunity for all of you to retrace your steps. It is only when you have not done that, based on the principle of Ofonogo, faithfully, well, I ask our people, is there anywhere that what Hope Uzodimma ordered to be carried out in Imo State, will that thing happen even in the zoo that is a zoo that has nothing to write home about? If it happened in the north, that you found so much bodies, it will not be found in any case. You can't find it there. You cannot find it there. It is these people that will shamelessly, that will, if there is a harder word of shameless, I will use it. But it is them that will call themselves our leaders. And that is why I say they had no understanding of what leadership entails or demands. Why David Umai, Chukuma Soludo, Hope Uzodimma, and their fellow politicians are busy using their police in Tiger Base, the army on our roads, and the vigilante in our communities, and murdering our youths. The Fulani have concluded plans to invade our land through two particular axes. I will not mention the name here for security purposes. I will not mention the name, but we know the axis that they are planning to come in. The ESN must be properly equipped to confront what is coming. I cannot tire to repeat this. They must. It is a duty incumbent upon all of us, each and every indigenous Biafran person. We must ensure that these men are properly equipped for what is coming. We have no apologies to anyone for desiring to defend our land and the people, because the flying terrorists will not stop until they are stopped. And we shall stop their march into our land. Permit me to repeat Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's advice to the Biafran people. If you refuse to equip these men and women who have volunteered themselves to protect you, and then the terrorists attack us first and invade our land, we shall withhold, we shall stand down, we shall withdraw the ESN and allow the Fulani a free ride into Biafra land, so that we will learn to listen and hearken to the voice of our ancestors. Today's national address to the Biafran people will not be incomplete if I fail to address the international community, especially those who may be concerned about what the new Biafran nation will entail for them. Let me reiterate that we Biafrans are people of honor and integrity. Those nations that have legitimate interest in Biafra land must not be worried or concerned about those interests, because we are not after your legitimate interest in our land. Rather, we are preoccupied with ensuring that our land and people are free from the onslaught of Fulani jihadism. We are engaged in liberating our people from the stranglehold of centuries of hatred. We simply want to restore the dignity We simply want to restore the dignity of a once proud and industrious race. Your interests are safe and will be protected in the new Biafra so long as such nations respect our sovereignty and do not interfere in our internal affairs. Our vision, our mission statement has neither changed nor has it been abandoned. We remain unwavering in our commitment to the well-being and freedom of our people, as well as to the restoration of the dignity and sovereignty of the Biafran people and nation. It is our vision to see that the enabling environment is created for our people to look homeward by repatriating their wealth and businesses to Biafra land. The days of the contraption called Nigeria is numbered, and a new dawn is about to commence at the trigger of the gun, where the sun rises. The days of the contraption called Nigeria is numbered, and a new dawn is about to commence at the trigger of the gun where the sun rises. In the spirit of Akuro, I call upon all true sons and daughters of Biafra to begin from today to repatriate the major part of their businesses and wealth to Biafra land. The leadership of the Biafran business entrepreneurs in Alaba, Trade Fair, Computer Village, Abuja, wherever, should get in touch with the Directorate of State of the Indigenous People of Biafra if they encounter any difficulty from any governor in our region in the process of acquiring appropriate location to return and situate their businesses. Don't hesitate to get in touch with us, so that then we will tell our people, those who are actually against the liberation and the reconstruction of our land by our people themselves. Finally, every IPOB principal servant holding positions of responsibility must wean him or herself of all forms of indiscipline, because we have no room for anyone who has difficulty to work in tandem, in consonance, in agreement with IPOB's laid down structure. You need to be reminded that any action done without proper authorization will endanger the lives of our people, and we will not take it, and we will not allow it. It is in this regard that the following changes are being made in the leadership of IPOB Nigeria family. These are new appointments. Mazi Julius has been appointed the IPOB West Africa Deputy Regional Coordinator. Mazi Julius. I'm sure many of you were vetted, so that when I call your name, because for obvious reasons, I will not call your name in full. When I call your name, you know that you have been vetted. You know that you underwent screening, thorough screening by a panel set up by the DOS. You will know that you are the one being referred. Mazi Julius has been appointed the IPOB West Africa Deputy Regional Coordinator. Mazi Flavor is appointed the new Nigerian National Coordinator for IPOB Nigeria Family. Mazi Flavor is appointed the new National Coordinator for the IPOB Nigeria Family. Mazi Chika will be the IPOB Nigeria Family Deputy National Coordinator. Mazi Uyi is appointed the IPOB Ghana National Coordinator. And Mazi Chukwueze is the IPOB Ghana Deputy National Coordinator. Mazi Nnamdi is the new coordinator for IPOB family in Abuja. And Mazi Dede will deputize him as the Abuja Deputy Coordinator. All appointments take immediate effect. Every IPOB family member and officers in the respective jurisdictions are directed to accord the new principal officers all support and assistance to enable them to efficiently and effectively carry out their responsibilities. All documents and properties belonging to the IPOB family in these jurisdictions should, without hesitation, be handed over by the former principal servants in these countries and zones to the new principal officers. I want to close this broadcast today by saying that the social phenomenon called Biafra Revolution was a seed sown with the tears and souls of Biafra, which was and continued to be watered with the blood of innocent Biafran women, men, and children. That seed that was buried has germinated, and it is at the threshold of bringing forth fruits. Do not be left behind. Do not be told about the work of those who will be called veterans. It is not only those who fought on the battlefield with guns are veterans. We are on a battlefield but without guns, without bullets. And if you stay the course, you are a veteran. To the honor of our heroes, to the honor of our heroines, and to the glory of Chukwuka and our ancestors, we shall be free, and Biafra shall come. Thank you, great Biafrans, for being patient with me for this very long broadcast. May this year bring us forward ever closer to our destination, which is a free, independent, and sovereign Biafran nation. Prosperity be upon you, and may the wisdom of the ancestors, may the guidance of the ancients be your portion now and always. In Chukwu Abiama's name, I have prayed. He said, good evening from me, from here. Thank you for listening.
There were,
Mazi.
there were. This is the end of the broadcast by the head of the Directorate of State of the whole IPOB worldwide and Biafrans. It is a landmark broadcast and what you've been waiting for. Thank you, Mazi. This is Radio Biafra USA. We will end this broadcast on And you've heard what he said. It covered everything.
There comes a time, the whole wide world will welcome the rising sun. Here comes the time, for everyone to see that what will be, will be. This is the time, for you and I to stand together as one. Yeah. They will know, the sun is rising, from east to west, from north to south. Can't you see the sun is rising? Oh, you wave your flag and be proud of who you are, because the sun is rising. We're shining so bright all over the world. We are the sun, we are rising. We spent our lives in pain and misery, never gonna trade our freedom with any mystery. It's affecting our soul and it's killing us slow. With what we've been through, we are far from being good, but we are blessed by Chika Edoziem. So we're never gonna give up. There'll be light in the wind of a tunnel. It will shine so bright all time. The whole wide world will embrace us. Nobody can stop us, nobody can cage us, nobody can stand us, yeah. They will know, the sun is rising, from east to west, from north to south. Can't you see the sun is rising? Oh, you wave your flag and be proud of who you are, because the sun is rising. We're shining so bright all over the world. We are the sun, we are rising. The windows and curtains, green lights be revealing. When I think about how blessed we are, goosebumps all over my body. Sunrise to the black stripe, black strands crossing grey stripes. Clashes upon clashes, many lives turn to ashes. When I ponder and reminisce, the actions I see malice. Blood on the ground, this is how we fly. Our beautiful flag, all around the world. Blood on the ground, this is how we fly. Our beautiful flag, all around the world. We go carry the cross together, we walk through to Zion. We stumble, we rise, how the victory was done.